If I'm back now. Hello, good evening, everyone, and welcome tonight to Workplace Conversation 6.0. Please confirm you can hear me.
Yes, doctor, we can hear you.
Great, great. It's a great privilege to host you tonight. I'm glad that we are all able to make it. Welcome. So let me just welcome you generally. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Workplace Conversation 6.0. My name is Olumuyiwa Oludayo. I'm the principal consultant at Nathan Leadgate Limited, and I have the privilege tonight
Hi, all right. Just to confirm, I can't hear doctor any longer. Can you hear him?
Yes, he's out of the group, seems to be having some technical difficulties, but he's joining back now.
Okay.
struggling badly with network tonight, but I'm hoping that we can stabilize over time.
Hopefully.
Yeah, I'm hoping it can stabilize. It's been
Good evening, everyone. Let's just give Doctor a few minutes to sort out the network issue. I'm sure he'll be with us very shortly. Thank you. I believe doctor is back now.
Oh my God.
Welcome back, doctor.
Oh my God. Sincere apologies. I didn't think it was going to be this bad today. Okay, so I would do my best not to be moved. Good evening, everyone. Sincere apologies again. You can plan all you can, but if you have dependencies beyond your control, you possibly will experience what I've just experienced. Okay, so let me welcome you again, like I've done, and to say that this is Workplace Conversations 6.0. We have been doing this for the past 5 editions. Today, in the 6th edition, we are gathered tonight to reflect on a subject that I believe touches each of us in profound ways. We're going to be talking about redesigning work, how to build roles that work for you, how to build roles that work for you and the organization. This is not a theoretical conversation that we're having, because if you have been following, and I think tonight's conversation is very important, if you have been following, the world of work is shifting beneath our feet. And I know the CIPM is having a conference sometime in October, and they're talking about reimagining the world of work. But if you've followed through with the World Economic Forum's Future of Jobs Report 2025, hopefully I'll be able to drop the link to that report in the chat during the conversation today. According to that report from the World Economic Forum on the future of jobs for 2025, we're expected to witness a creation of about 170 million new jobs by 2030. By 2030, we're supposed to have new jobs, 170 million new jobs by 2030. Even though we're going to have about 92 million roles, currently existing roles, disappear. About 92 million jobs or roles will disappear, and 170 million new jobs will be created by 2030. Even though this one leaves us with a net gain of around 78 million jobs, what is really striking about that report, that is the World Economic Forum's Future of Jobs Report 2025, what is very striking about it is that almost 39% of current skills, are projected to become obsolete within the next 5 years. In the next 5 years, by 2030, 39% of the skills that we have are going to become obsolete. And what does this mean for us? It means that both individuals and organizations must begin to think differently. You must begin to think differently about how roles are designed. If you're here, representing your organization, if you're here, you are a manager of a role, you are a line manager, or you are a HR manager, or you are the CEO of a company, you are the CEO of a company, it means that for you as an organization, and as you as individuals, for those of us who are here, employees in an organization, we almost begin to think differently about how roles are designed. For employees, it raises the question of purpose, the question about purpose, fulfillment, and growth. And for organization, it's a question of agility. There's a demand for agility, there's a demand for productivity, and there's a demand for alignment with strategic goals. So our task tonight, and I need you all to please stay with us. Just stay glued with us. The experts that have been called tonight are prepared. We've been preparing now over a month for this session. Our task tonight is to explore how work can be redesigned. How work can be redesigned so that it works for both parties, the individual and the organization. Before we go on, I'd like you to please note that in sessions like this, we connect with ourselves. So you don't want to stop by saying hello in the chat. Stop by the chat and say hello in the chat. Say hello to someone. If you are able, please leave your LinkedIn links. Let somebody connect with you on the platform tonight. Workplace Conversation is the product of Nathan Leadgate. Our organization is an organizational management practice. We have 4 focal points. We focus on people, organization, learning, and strategy. We are also the custodians of what we call the workplace survey. So we have what we call the workplace conversations and then the workplace survey. In the workplace survey, what we do is to take viewpoints from employers and graduates, and we are inviting you to please join us. My colleague Dolakbo will drop the link in the chat for you to join us in completing this survey. The survey for us tonight, we desire that you help us lend your voice. We want to find out what exactly gets people ready for the world of work. How do people get ready for the world of work? So in the chat right now, you will find our surveys. The surveys will be there. So as you drop your LinkedIn links, LinkedIn profiles for people to connect with you, don't just say hello. Pedro, thank you for saying hello. TSA, thank you for saying hello. Don't just say hello. Tell us what you do so that we can connect. Okay? Thank you, Marvelous. Dr. Marvelous, thank you for sharing your LinkedIn profile. So let's connect with one another. Who knows? You possibly will find someone that can help boost your career here. And so if you would help us, Dolakwa will drop the link to the surveys. We would like you to please join us as we, take this survey along. We want to help improve the workplace readiness by participating in this survey. For Nathan Leadgate, we continue to offer many services. We have bespoke consulting services that we render, and all of the things you can see on the screen. Time would not permit me to go into details, but we have tried our best to serve the number of clients you can see on our screen. These are not placeholders. You can place a call to anybody in this organization, and they will tell you that Nathan Leadgate has been with them, and many of them, if not all of them, have retained us as their partner. At Nathan Leadgate, we have done well over 10,000 trainings for individuals. We have trained over 10,000 people. We're trying to cover Nigeria, but you can see us very clearly. You can see that we are stronger in the southern part of Nigeria on the map. We have done over 2,000 personality analysis, personality tests, and assessment for people. So if you're looking forward to having your personality assessed, is one thing we do. We've done for over 2,000 people. We also have a recruitment practice, a very strong recruitment practice, and we have recruited over 500 employees for our clients over the years. We have our own bespoke programs and frameworks that we deploy. We have quite a number of frameworks that we deploy. If I'm able to, I will drop our company profile in the chat before the end of this meeting so you can download and then you can get a hold of it. We have over 10 corporate transformation frameworks. And we have about 7 diagnostic tools that we have designed, diagnostic tools to help you understand what your organization is. So you can partner with us. If you look on the screen, you find our email address, you find our phone numbers. You can partner with us. We possibly can help you, support you, and bring you in. It's my joy tonight to introduce our panelists. Our panelists, as you can see, is a very rich panel. Joining me tonight are 3 distinguished professionals who bring expertise from different corners of the workplace. Let me start, first of all, by introducing and welcoming tonight Oludayo Kayode. Oludayo is the organizational psychologist at Nathan Leadgate Limited. She brings the lens of psychology into workplace design, resilience, and human performance. Oludayo, welcome.
Thank you so much, Doctor. Thank you so much for having me today.
Next is another delectable lady, one who has been very instrumental to the flourishing of my own career as a HR professional. Oluwayemi Ogundano, Human Resource Business Associate at the VFD Group PLC. She represents one with the hands-on operational side of HR practice in a dynamic business environment. Hello, Yemi.
Hi, Doctor. Good evening. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you. We also have with us tonight, I'm sure any moment from now, he will be able to turn on his camera, is Dr. Michael Ogu. That name is a very strong name in HR community. Anybody who hears that name knows that that's a powerhouse. And for us to be able to get him tonight, it's a miracle that we have the Chief Human Resource Officer at Canary Point Limited, a seasoned HR leader with deep insight into organizational transformation, join us. Dr. Michael Ogu, good evening, sir. It's a great pleasure to have
Good
you here.
evening, Dr. Oludayo. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, sir. And so my esteemed attendees tonight, would you please help me applaud these great gentlemen and ladies for gracing this occasion tonight. Thank you so much. Help me welcome them. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Okay. Now let's get to it. The conversation is just about to get started. And what I know we will do tonight is that we're going to ask a few questions. I'll also release a poll for you to participate in. There will also be a moment where you can ask us questions towards the tail end, and then we'll just go on from there. Let's do ladies first. Ladies first, and then we'll come back to the gentleman afterward. Let's do ladies first. I mean, do you agree that we can do ladies first? Yemi, I'm going to put you on the spot as you start tonight. The first question, Yemi, is this. You work very closely with employees at different levels, and you see how roles play out on a day-to-day basis. And here's my question to you. How can HR practitioners support both employees and organizations in building roles that adapt over time, especially considering the fact that there are now 39% of today's skills that are at the risk of redundancy? And I'm sure this is not just about training. It's really about creating pathways for employees to move, to grow, to reinvent themselves while they still deliver value to the business. So my quest for you tonight is this. Yemi, what are some practical approaches you see that HR can take in this area to support both employees and organizations in building roles that adapt over time? Over to you, Yemi.
Thank you, Doctor, for that question. And I would say that's quite an important question because, the reality now is most roles are not fixed. The role an individual joins today, it's not the same they definitely have tomorrow. And that's why we need to also keep, evolving as individuals within the organization. Besides training, HR also has to be strategic in the way he approaches this role. And the first things first is workforce planning, strategic workforce planning in this case. The ability to identify roles or rather tasks that technology would take over, technology would take control, then begin to see how you can then begin to help the organization to ensure that the individuals are evolving and the organization is not stuck. Also, one of the ways we also do that is, and I think most organizations have started doing this is, we get to have flexible roles now, no longer a rigid job description. So we are looking at outcome of tax now, not the tax itself. A clear example I would use is a junior accountant who maybe job is to, look at receipts, manually impute them. We have finance software now that helps, just to eliminate that human efforts, and it helps the organization then think strategically, they're able to see trends, pattern, rather than focusing on just core administration. They're now becoming more strategic on even how they can better support the organization, because organization has to keep on growing, technology, what they intend to do in future, and it just helps them, shape that. I would also say career mapping, career pathway for individuals. This is not just ensuring people are just on vertical promotion. The ability for people to evolve on the role. Even organization do rotations within the organization just to understand what the business is, what the core business is, getting to understand these roles and helping individuals just to evolve. Because once you understand what the business does, you can then come up with even strategic tasks, initiatives on how to get things done better and faster. Yes, AI will come, technology will come, but we still need people to also still interpret this data execute this data, and it's not everything AI can do. Learning is very paramount, and I think that's one of the beautiful things right now. We have learning management system. It doesn't have to be the classroom, and you have one facilitator come and teach people. You can start training your employees bit by bit, based on the trends we are seeing now, bit by bit, on how they have to begin to evolve and grow on the role. We have LMS where people can have access to different courses, and so we need to make learning a continuous thing, not just a one-time thing where we have our learning calendar and you go to training, you attend a training once a month. No, we have to continually, ensure that the organization is learning, the organization is growing and catching up with current trends and even projected future trends, which would most certainly, help them within the organization. So I just want to say that the goal of HR is to ensure that both the employees are evolving, and we are not stuck where we now have to start looking for roles, how to replace roles when technology comes, and individuals themselves, employees themselves, have to be open towards this. Learning, workforce planning, developing JDs, not just being static, just growing in general, competency mapping, just ensuring that we keep on learning, which is change is constant. Everybody has to keep learning, even aside from the part of the organization itself. The individuals themselves have to keep on learning and growing.
Thank you, Emmy. Thank you so much. What I hear strongly is that HR is not merely an administrative function anymore. HR is not merely an administrative function. It's now a bridge that creates learning pathways, builds agility, and enables employees to align their growth and organizational needs. And I say that because it's not just enough for those of us who are on this call to be HR professionals. You don't have to be a HR professional. What Yemi just said is something that you can even use in demanding the intervention of your HR team, HR leads, because what Yemi said says HR is responsible for competency mapping. So if your organization is not doing competency mapping, you need to start to prod your HR leaders to say, hey, we need to start to do these things. Yemi, there was something you said that was very instructive for me. You said, if we all know and understand the business, it is easier for us to evolve in our roles across our years in that organization. If I know my organization is into clearing and forwarding, and I understand the business, I'm not likely to remain in my role where I see opportunities. I will evolve over time and become very creative. And so I can begin to redesign how I work because I know where the business is going. Thank you so much, Yemi. I mean, it's always good to have a lady start. Not that, I mean, we're glad. So, all right, let me come to you. I would like you to bring in the psychological dimension, because work is not just about skills and structure. It's about people's minds, people's well-being, people's sense of purpose. And so my question really to you will be, how should roles be designed, or should I say redesigned, to support psychological well-being, resilience, and personal agency in this very dynamic labor market? Like I was saying, today we're really diving into that World Economic Forum's Future of Jobs Report 2025. And we know from that study that those who feel psychologically safe are more engaged. Mm-hmm. They are more innovative. They are more committed. In fact, Gallup, one of the leading research channels, Gallup reports that purpose-driven employees, they always show about 40% higher engagement, and they significantly lower turnover. So from your perspective, what makes a psychologically healthy what makes a role psychologically healthy and sustainable? I know you're also a recruiter, so it will help us.
Thank you so much, Doctor. That's a very critical question in this conversation that we're having. So how should we design roles or redesign roles in a way that supports psychological well-being? And first of all, what is psychological well-being, really. It's actually how employees feel safe within their jobs. To put it very simply, do they hate their jobs? Do they wake up, feeling stressed or excited to go to work? And if you look at psychological well-being, it is the very foundation for us to tackle what really is the issue, which is that 39% of skills will become obsolete. Now, for people to keep up with this or get in front of it, we must continue to learn. Just like Yemi talked about, learning is critical to actually tackling this particular issue. And not only learning, the ability to adapt, which looks at resilience. And we're looking at the ability for individuals and teams to be able to cope with challenges, bounce back, because when you learn, you will encounter challenges. And if you're not resilient, you will get stuck, right? So for us as HR professionals and even individuals, when it comes to redesigning roles in a way that puts people at a very stable level to learn and adapt easily, there are 5 key things that I'll talk about. And it's autonomy, which is looking at the choice of how to work. We have to make roles and develop roles that allow people to choose the way they want to work. They have to have that authority in how they carry out their task. Another critical thing that we must consider when we are redesigning roles is how connected do people feel within their jobs? What's the level of relatedness among, employees? And that really looks at team dynamics and, incorporating support into the roles. So when we are designing roles or when we are reevaluating roles and redesigning roles, we must begin to think how we can support people. How well do they feel supported within this environment? What's the culture of belongingness? Do people feel alone in their jobs? Or do they feel like, they're connected to their colleagues or like the organization looks out for them? And so another critical thing is impact. Impact is, basically, how is what I am doing making a difference? If people are not able to see the relationship between what they do and why it matters and what are the things that it impacts, then they do not come to a place where they buy into their role, even to a point where they are constantly learning and evolving. Another thing that is very critical is there must be structure. Now, we do a lot of JDs, we talk about key responsibilities and all of that. But really, a lot of people don't have clarity within their roles. They don't know the boundaries within their roles. Where does my power start? Where does it stop? What decisions can I make? How much power do I have within this role? And, how much, authority can I exercise within my role? And the last thing really is energy. Wellness is very critical to making employees feel safe within their roles. We must begin to incorporate rest into role design. It must begin to, it is very, very critical because a burnt out staff cannot learn. A burnt out staff cannot adapt. So we must begin to consider very critically what are the rest times within a role, how much physical work is used, how much mental energy is expended, and looking at how we can create rest times. And so when we bring all of this, together, really, we are able to design roles that make people feel safe, that help people to be resilient, and give them what I call personal agency, which is just, feeling like I own my role. I know what it is I am doing. I know the impact I am making. And that really, for me, is a psychological perspective to redesigning roles.
All right, I will need you to do something. I will need you to repeat some things you said because they were very important. You said there are 5 things that are critical as we redesign roles, and autonomy was the first thing you said. Autonomy. The second you said was support. That we must design jobs in such a way that it gives people autonomy. That's the freedom to be able to get things done. Number 2 is you call that number 2, support, the idea for people to be able to look around them and see that they can be supported. No matter how difficult that task is, they can see that they can lean on people. Number 3, you said was impact, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes,
Impact.
impact.
The jobs must be designed in such a way that people can see what they have contributed towards.
Yes.
Because if you design a job and people can't see what they are doing, what it brings to them, or what it adds to the organization, it may not be. So I missed the last 2. That's why I wanted you to say.
Oh, okay. So the last 2 are structure, which looks at the role clarity, boundaries within the role, decision-making authority. And then the last one is energy.
Okay. So those 5 things are critical for us. All right. I mean,
Yes.
thank you very much. All right. I don't know if Dr. Mike is here now.
Yes, I am, Dr. Olumuyiwa, but you will permit me to turn off my camera. My network is not so strong, and then my battery is at 35% so that I can preserve it. The national grid affected us where we are, so it is well.
Thank you, sir. We will redesign the work of those in the National Grid Center so that we can get you. All right. So thank you, Dr. Ogu. Let me also say that it's important to speak with someone like you. You are the global president of the Association of Elite HR Professionals, an organization that has significantly contributed to how work is done. Your work has shaped how HR career professionals also work and contribute to organizations. And sitting at that place, and also as a chief HR officer, you sit at the center of strategy and people. And like I said earlier at the beginning, that the World Economic Forum projects that there will be 170 million new jobs and 92 million jobs will disappear by 2030. Now, how do you, sitting where you sit, interpret these projections? And what do they mean for how organizations must redesign roles? Because when we consider that 39% of skills will soon become obsolete, it then suggests that organizations must begin to rethink how they structure their roles, how they evolve, how employees are prepared for the future. I mean, all of that. I would really love to hear your perspective on how you think organizations must redesign roles in order to remain relevant. Over to you, sir.
Yes, thank you so much, Dr. Olumuyiwa. That's a very, very interesting question, and it's intriguing at the same time. So, and I would say it's a seismic shift. 170 million jobs being created, and then the disappearance of 92 million jobs, Dr. Olumuyiwa. When you look at that, and between now and 2030, which is like 5 years from now, that's an average of almost 45 million jobs that will be disappearing on a yearly basis. All right, and that's huge. So what's the implication for organizations? I'm going to talk about 3 implications, but before I go there, let me also offer my perspective to this data from the World Economic Forum. For me, so Dr. Olumuyiwa, it's not just about the numbers, Dr. Olumuyiwa. It's a restructuring of skills to focus on value creation, number 1. Number 2, to focus on organizational nimbleness, organizational agility, if I may say. So it's a restructuring of skills to focus on 1, value creation, organizational agility, and also to strengthen competitive advantage. And when you look at it from those 3 lenses, what then should organizations do? I've said that it's a restructuring of skills along 3 lines: value creation, organizational agility, and then to strengthen competitive advantage. So what should organizations do? Number 1, we must begin to redesign jobs around skills and not job titles. Roles must begin to evolve into skill clusters that are able to pivot when necessary. And you and I know, Dr. Olumuyiwa, that the half-life of a skill now is 6 months. So there's going to be massive skills obsolescence over the next few years. So we must redesign jobs around skills and not titles. I have a tech subsidiary, for example, Dr. Olumuyiwa. One of my subsidiaries is a tech firm. And I have people who write codes, who develop softwares, who are not graduates. And I've had to hire them on a full-time software developer salary. Number 2, we must begin to blend tech with human insights. And I say this, that AI is not going to take away people's jobs. AI will only take the people who cannot use AI to enhance what they do. So we must begin to blend tech with human insights. Yes, automation will replace routine tasks, but organizations must begin to redesign roles that we amplify what machines cannot do. So let's begin to focus on the softer elements of creativity. Like Ore mentioned, the psychological aspects, creativity, empathy, judgments, ethical judgment, and then problem solving. Dr. Muyiwa, we had a session on Friday in my organization, thinking models to enhance business agility and organizational wide training, that I expected that over my 300 staff will attend. Only 45 people were in attendance that day. So when some people now get redeployment letters, they begin to ask me, but what's going on here? So we must begin to blend technology with human insights. Lastly, we must enable nimble and dynamic workforce models. We must begin to shift from my workforce is everyone is an FTE. No, Dr. Muyiwa, the future of the workforce is a combination of FTEs and non-FTEs. All right, we're going to have the rise of gig workers. So we need to be fluid. All right. Some people say, I want my contracts redesigned. So the future is not about job loss or job gain. No, it's about job redesign. And let me say this with every sense of modesty: HR professionals, career professionals, organizations that remain rigid will not be able to pivot. Because what the WEF is saying is that organizations must brace up for value creation, must brace up to enhance organizational agility, and must brace up to strengthen competitive advantage. So those are my thoughts, Dr. Muyiwa.
Wow, I felt the energy. I felt the energy. I mean, I felt the energy. I felt the energy. And I understand why you are that energetic, because, again, we are at the point where people will likely not see themselves useful tomorrow. And it's not because they are not graduates. It's not because they are not graduates. And Yemi started it very well by telling us about learning. I mean, I think it was Alvin Toffler. I mean, that quote, I've heard that quote in my 100 level. Alvin Toffler was the one that said, the illiterate, was it Alvin Toffler that said that thing, that the illiterate of the 21st century? Yes.
Yes, Alvin Toffler. Yeah, the illiterates of the 21st century will be those who cannot learn, relearn, and unlearn.
Okay, so we are at the point where people need to understand that the things you knew yesterday, they are not needed for tomorrow. And
yeah,
I like what Dr. Michael has said. He said that organizations must now begin to redesign roles, not around titles anymore.
Yeah, around skills.
Around the skills. So we need to begin to do some skill reprogramming. And for all of us who are here on this call as individuals, even if your organization is not doing it, don't wait. Don't wait. You just need to get yourself ready for that future, because the future is here already, where the future is demanding from everybody that you must, by all means, become a different person. Okay, I'm going to give you a voice. I'm going to give everybody a voice. Dr. Mike, thank you so much. I'll come back to you in a bit. I'm going to release a poll right now, and I want you all to please take part in this poll. It's just one question. Please confirm that you can see my poll. Has it come up on your screen? Okay, so let's see which of the following matters most to you for making a role work for you. Which of the following matters most for making a role work for you? I'd like you to please participate in this survey. Let's give you a voice to it, and let's talk about it in a bit. What makes a role work for you? We have about 16% of us have taken a survey. We can do better. Which of the following matters most? What matters the most when making a role work for you? Yemi, have you voted? Ori, have you done yours? Of course, you should have. Thank you, Lighton. Thank you. About half of us have completed the survey. If you can do more, I hope you are not just having as a placeholder. If you're here really joining us, can you please respond to the survey? We need the rest of you to respond. We need the rest of you to respond. Thank you. Thank you. Getting more responses. We're at 70% now. Don't just be here as a placeholder. Participate in this survey. Participate, participate, participate. Let's hear your voice. Respond. I don't want to call your name out. I can see those who have done the survey. Don't let me call you out. Major Sulaiman, have you done the survey? Vanessa, you won. Have you taken the survey? Damola, have you taken the survey? If I call your name, I've not seen your name at the back end, eh? Maybe a few more people, a few more. Thank you, Peju. Thank you, Peju. Thank you. Thank you, Damola. Thank you as well. I'm waiting for you one. Akinjide, have you taken the survey? Thank you, Tolu. Thank you. Mr. Prince, Chukwemeka, have you taken the survey? Ayotunde, have you? Just about 7 more people, and then we'll have come full circle. Just 7 people, and then we'll have come full circle. My head of corporate comms, Esther, have you taken our survey? Friday, hoping to hear you from you as well. Okay, thank you, Funke, for taking the survey. I have just 5 people left, and then I'll close the survey, and I will share the results with you. I'll share the result. Thank you, Damilare. Thank you. Tosin, I don't know if you've taken it. Shakir, TSA, have you taken the survey? Grace, have you taken the survey? Dolapo, Deborah, have you taken the survey? Just waiting for you. Back end, don't say you are back end. You should also take the survey. Muyiwa, have you voted as well? Okay. I think I'll just close it here for time's sake. Tomorrow is Monday. We're going to work. Let's end the poll. Now, let me share the results with you. Can you see the results also? Can you see the results on your screen? Yes, that's come up. So majority of us are saying, 38% of us are saying that continuous learning opportunities is what makes a role work for me. So if a role doesn't have opportunities for learning, for continuous learning, there's going to be a problem. The list, all the others are tied anyway. All the other 3 options are tied. Making meaningful autonomy in your role, career progression pathways, alignment with organizational purpose. While all those are good, I think the voice here is this. If I can learn on it, if there's opportunity to learn on it, then that's what I want. It's okay to give me autonomy. It's okay to show me that I can do vertical growth, like Yemi was talking about earlier. It's okay that it's aligning with organizational purpose. But most importantly, you are saying, if there's opportunity to learn, I would do. Thank you very much, everyone, for sharing your thoughts on that. So I'm going to go back to you, Dr. Mike. I'm going to come back to you now.
Dr. Muyiwa.
All right, looking ahead of 2030, many organizations and industries will face job creation and job displacement. How do you think business leaders need to prepare organizations structurally so that those roles will remain relevant in the face of disruption?
So that's a very tough question, Dr. Muyiwa, because from where I sit as CHRO, one of the key things I hear my CEO say is, do we have the engine to drive the future? And by the engine, do we have both the capacity and capability to drive the future? Of course, you've always taught us the difference between capacity and capability. And in my own thoughts, I think that both are very important. So in terms of positioning for the future, they require deliberate structural shifts, not just cosmetic tweaks around the organogram and all of that. No. So there are about 4 things in my mind that we need to focus on. Yemi talked about one of them, workforce planning and scenario planning. So I'll start from there. Number one is workforce foresight and scenario planning. We must begin to intentionally build structures that anticipate disruption ahead of time. Dr. Muyiwa, a lot of us are not good with disruptive creative thinking. There's what you call creative disruption. A lot of us don't anticipate what will happen if something goes the other way. And we must begin to anticipate what will happen. All right, so we must begin to scan our environment continuously and adapt our workforce plans in such a way that we are agile and we can pivot. Number two, I'll say agility by design. We must begin to create flatter networked organizations where people can be redeployed anyhow. And that goes back to redesigning jobs around skills and not titles. All right? See, a lot of us are now, see, Dr. Muyiwa, I began to move out of my core HR role to take up more roles at a C-suite level. You'll be amazed now, I'm coordinating ESG work. I'm coordinating corporate comms, all right? I'm coordinating IT and so many other things. And in my mind, I'm like, am I not being positioned for a CEO or a possible CEO in the future? So we must create flatter, networked organizations where people can be redeployed at any point in time. Number two, we must set in place a CURE infrastructure. What is CURE? CURE is an acronym I developed for cross-skilling, upskilling, reskilling, and expert skilling. You know, Yemi had used that already when she was talking about continuous learning opportunities. So we must create a CURE infrastructure, an infrastructure that will help us design cross-skilling programs, upskilling programs, reskilling programs, and expert skilling programs. Finally, we must begin to develop what we call broad talent ecosystem thinking, meaning that we are in a talent marketplace. That means that your talents does not only sit within your organization, they are outside. So when we have broad-based talent ecosystem thinking, you will not be myopic in the way you manage your talent. So our role as business leaders, you know, must now shift from role preservation to role reinvention. Such that yes, I'm HR at my core, but who says I don't have skill sets that can do other things? Dr. Muyiwa, you know, I was the MC of the CIPM conference for 3 years in a row. Who says I cannot move into corporate comms? All right. I have skills in coaching. I have skills in therapy. I have skills in project management. I have skills here and there. Who says I cannot create a new role that can take advantage of all these skills that I have? So we must begin to think creatively and disruptively in such a manner that the focus is on role reinvention and not just role displacement. So those are my thoughts, Dr. Muyiwa.
The energy in this room is very, let me adjust my seat, because the way I'm sitting down, if I don't sit properly, I may be displaced too. So I may be displaced if I don't sit properly. And maybe I should tell the room here tonight, Dr. Mike Ogo is a prolific writer, is an author. I just got a bundle of his books recently. I mean, he has not asked me to say this at all, and I did not even plan to say it. But when I started to hear cure, what I know is pure, previously unidentified recruitment error. When I'm hearing cure, cross-skilling, upskilling, reskilling, and extract skilling, I think it's important to get a hold of your material, sir. If you don't mind, if you can just drop a link in the chat where your resources are hosted, it would be good for us to chase them and, you know, draw more than the conversation here can help us. And so again, thank you, sir. We have a responsibility, and I think it's a clarion call to everyone on this meeting tonight to say that things are changing. Things are changing. If you are not changing, guess what? You are not going to be playing catch up. You'll be gone. You'll be left behind. You're not going to be playing catch up. You'll be left behind. Let me come to you, Ore. Ore, for you, from a psychological lens, what role does identity and purpose play? From a psychological lens, and I'm coming back to Yemi as well. From a psychological lens, what role does identity and purpose play in how individuals perceive redesign roles? I mean, if you have redesigned my role now and you are making me responsible for ESG, making me responsible for corporate communications, even though my primary training is in psychology, how does that make me perceive that my roles, and how does that affect my identity and my purpose? And how can organizations embed these things into work structure?
Amazing. Thank you so much, Doctor, for that question. And when roles are redesigned, yes, some people can begin to feel lost and begin to ask questions. I mean, confusion sets in because it's like, what's going on? And that's where two things are very critical for us to ensure that they remain grounded within their roles. And that's identity and purpose. And what really is identity? Identity is talking about who I am here, not really what my title is, who I am here. And when we make sure that employees know who they really are, and it gives them what we call, stability within their roles. And then purpose looks at, why does what I do matter? What's really the impact of what I do? So identity gives you stability, it gives the employee stability, while purpose would give motivation. Like you mentioned earlier in the Gallup or study, how employees who feel connected to purpose are 40% more engaged and also have low turnover within their roles, right? So when identity and purpose is known and understood, people know who they are. So even if tasks change, even if the tax change, when they look at, okay, what is my actual impact? Even if the task has changed, if you're able to tie it to, okay, this is the purpose of what you are doing. So even if you change the task, as long as that purpose is still aligned, or then we do, frequent check-in to review what that purpose is, people are able to stay engaged. Now, to the second part of that question, which is really, how do we ensure that we tie in identity and purpose into our structure as an organization? There are three things to really look at, and I'll start with what I call role identity statements. We must begin to craft, and that can happen as an individual or as an HR professional. When you employ people, they need to have what I call role identity statements. And what really is a role identity statement? It has three key things. It looks at your actual role. I am the XYZ. What your unique contribution is, so that an outcome. So there are three things that are very important for a role identity statement. Is, what is the actual role? I am I'm an HR partner, right? Then what is my unique bringing? What is my unique, contribution? It could be, say, for example, I am a HR business partner who connects people's strategy to business results. That's my unique bring to the organization. But then we must also be able to tie in the impacts. Okay, so you are HR partner, you connect people's strategy to business results, so that what? So that teams can grow without burnout. That's just me coming up with a statement, like right now. That is what a role identity statement sounds like. So people must be able to own their jobs to a point where they know what it is they are doing, they know their unique, contribution and the outcome of that contribution. And another thing that we can, infuse into the world of work that would help people stay, within their identity and have their purpose at the back of their mind is impact mapping rituals. So within teams, we must always find time to share how our task or something that we did actually impacted, share success, stories within ourselves. So, like a regular mapping within teams, maybe once a week or once a month, we sit down to really identify, okay, what it is that you did in this month and how it actually, impacted. So we go away from numbers and data and we look at how is, what I'm doing, how is it impacting, the organization? Because people want to feel like, they are part of something bigger. That's just the truth. And we must always, satisfy that need for humans. So impact mapping rituals can also be embedded into culture. And then the last thing is for organizations to actually set up psychological contracts. And what is really a psychological contract? It's a document that really says what the organization owes you and what you owe the organization. Now, it's very important that this contract has growth or say allowances for learning. So for example, if I have maybe like a customer service person now, a psychological contract would look like what is the organization giving to this person? So for example, I can say as an organization, we are going to provide you with 2 hours a week for you to learn. You have 2 hours within the week, within your working hours, where you are allowed to learn a skill. We are going to provide you with a safe environment where feedback is welcomed. We are going to, share and share and really celebrate your successes. In that same document, you would have what the employee is also promising to do, which would look like the employee promises to keep learning skills, let's say digital skills to impact how they're dealing with customers. They would also be promising to share these, success stories that they have, and they'll be promising to say support, customers. So we must begin to develop, and at the end of the psychological contracts, you then have a statement that says we are both promising to do XYZ. And then all of these things must be looked at periodically. You must always review these things. Okay, let's look at your role identity statement. Is it still the same? The unique contribution, does it need to change? The impact that we require now, does it really need to change? Because when we focus on those outcomes, when we focus on impact, when we focus on giving people the room to learn, they begin to have, very strong identities within their role, and then they are very conscious of the purpose of that role and how they tie into it. Thank you.
Wow. Looks like this is a master class. We should have not called this a conversation, but I just called this a work redesign master class. And I hope it's going to be a very important thing for you to read. I mean, for many things have been said. For those of you who are attending, I'm hoping that you can go back and listen. I'm going to ask Yemi a question, but I promise to give all of you on the call, I promise to give you a list. I'm going to read out the list. So please get your pen and paper or get your tabs. I'm going to give you a list of what WEF, because that report that I shared with you earlier, the link I shared, I think about 89 pages. You may not want to read the entire 89 pages. Some of us have done the work for you, don't worry. So I'll come back to you and I'll give you a list of the skills to look out for ahead of 2030. But Yemi, let me come to you. From the perspective of some of the younger employees you see and early career professionals, how do you think roles can be crafted to give them a sense of belonging? Because, people are coming out of schools now and they are thinking of where do I belong? What's my career progression looking like? In an era where 39% of the skills will vanish. Imagine you're coming out of school now, somebody's telling you that in the next this thing, we don't need it anymore. So why did I go to school? Do you understand? So my question to you really is, from the perspective of younger employees, early career professionals, a number of them are also on this call, how can roles be crafted to give them a sense of belonging and career progression, even in the face of 39% of current skills that may be vanishing?
Thank you, Doctor, for that question. We are coming from a generation where all they wanted is stability and loyalty. We're talking about the baby boomers and the Gen X. And now we have millennials and the Gen Zs taking over the workforce. Which what they really want is, that belonging, work-life balance and autonomy. And you can even tell right now, I think, I don't have that data to back it up, but I think quite a number of Gen Zs right now are more entrepreneurial. They have their own businesses, they are doing side hustles. Even organizations now are beginning to, encourage side hustles, gigs, as long as the job is being done and delivered. And so how can we HR professionals help these individuals just stay connected, have that sense of belonging within the organization? First, I'll say learning. Learning cannot be overflogged. And I'm glad that that poll you did, the highest rating was continuous learning. And that shows that people stay on the job because there's a sense of learning. And so we can then now create like a learning roadmap for individuals where the skills you're building next. And I've used this for someone that I worked with when she joined me, and we had like a learning map where based on the HR core value chains, we had the first 3 months we are focusing on these areas. If it's recruitment, they are still doing other jobs, other tasks relating to it, but it's core recruitment that we are focusing on. And so it's not just you just being a generalist on the side, or not being fully grounded. And when people have this learning part to say, okay, if for me to become a CHRO, just like Dr. Ogu, I need to learn this, I need to learn this, I need to learn this. And if I have this learning map, even within the organizations, to say, oh, once I've learned this, I tick this off my box. I move on to the next one, I tick this off my box. It gives me that sense of belonging to say, okay, this is where I want to go to. The organization is also helping me, achieve this. And that's why even as line managers, and this is not just for HR, because HR does all the strategy. The executors are really the line managers, because they are the ones to say, okay, they have that technical experience. This is how you're going to do it. And so line managers need to also have conversations with their employees and say, okay, what are your career projections? Where do you want to be? I know when people go to interview, they ask, oh, what's your 5-year career projection? And we laugh, but sometimes we need to have these conversations. And when you see where someone is going, you can even say, oh, I think this person might not be a good fit in this role. Why not let you deploy this person? And the person gets this sense of fulfillment on the job. So first of all, I would say learning roadmap is very important for individuals. Secondly, line managers need to have conversations with their employee. This is not just when appraisals is around the corner just to tick off the box. It has to be continuous within the organization, and just also make it a lifestyle. 3, mentoring and reverse mentoring. I want to know how we need C-suite leaders to now begin to take it up upon themselves to say, oh, these are the future generation of this company, because actually they're actually the future generation of this company, because a lot of people now will be, planning to retire and leave the organization. And we need to, how do you begin to build people for the organization? Jobs are changing, technology is coming over, to just to automate processes. We are having policies within the organization. How do we keep ourselves, ensure that we are ready for the future, which is now? And you need to begin to mentor these employees, even down to leadership, even down to, aside technical skills, other soft skills on how they can progress in the organization. I was reading an article, I think 2 days ago, talking about office politics. And it says that office politics starts from the very first day, not when you're a C-suite. And these are skills that we need to begin to learn as individuals. And how do you know this? How do you know how to manage office politics in a good way, not in a bad way? If you don't have mentors that will guide you. And so I think these 3 things are very key within organizations. Also for roles now, we don't have to be statics. We can have dual roles. Some persons want to be specialists, some persons want to be generalists, depending on the level of field they find themselves in. Some want to say, okay, wherever I find myself in, I can swim. Some want to be, this is my core, this is what I want to do. And we need to begin to let people have that autonomy within their job roles to say, this is what I've chosen. I want to be a specialist. I want to be the best in my field. Give them that opportunity. They don't need to move to the next ladder or become a manager in quotes, or that job title that says head of marketing. They can be a marketing specialist, well grounded in their crafts, doing excellently well. As long as they get that fulfillment, the organization is getting that fulfillment, that is beautiful. Those that want to be generalists, if they have the opportunity to, that is also beautiful. And I'll say finally, also projects involve people in projects aside their core functions. It gives them the ability to know what the organization is doing. It also helps them get grounded in the business itself. I liked when Dr. Ogu said he now does a part of IT, he does a part of communication. All these can lead to just projects. Oh, there's a project in the organization. I know those are one of the also the OD when you're doing organizational design, involving people in projects. You have change management process here. You have a new project going on. You get people from various departments. So they feel like we are the ones that really developed it. And they are able to cascade it down to the various people in their teams or even their colleagues. So I think these are core things that we need to begin to imbibe in our various workplaces and even as individuals. Thank you.
I feel like hugging you. I feel like hugging you. Thank you. That was, oh my God. I mean, I don't even feel like a moderator of this session as much as I feel like a learner on this session, because everything you said, Yemi, just resonates with me. And I'm hoping that the people who are on this call, our colleagues who have joined, I'm hoping that you are getting value from this conversation, because these are things that ordinarily should cost, it should be a master class. Like I said, each question that you have responded to is a master class in itself. But I'm glad that it's going to trigger decisions from people. I love what you said about mentoring, reverse mentoring. I love what you said about dual career pathways, which will allow people become who they want to be. So people can begin, they can do left and right. I mean, you don't have to be stuck in one way. Somebody recently told me, and I think, Yemi, it's good what you said. And it just reminds me of what one of my guys, I mean, if I mention his name, Ore will remember, Oga Bimbo, and she will laugh. Oga Bimbo told me, he said, Muyiwa, I don't see you as a HR person. He said, because the things you've been doing for me, I see you as a corporate planning and strategist. I see you as a corporate planner. You are a corporate planning, you are into corporate planning and strategy. And I said, corporate planning. So 2 years ago, when I was going to write my own identity mapping, like Ore was suggesting, I was going to write something about myself. And I came up with the acronym Top Chief. I don't know how many of you saw my Top Chief acronym. And the C in Top Chief was corporate planning and strategy, which was not something I was doing it easily and naturally for myself, but somebody was the one that told me, this is who you are. And this is a man who owns multiple businesses whom I have supported. They say, see, guy, I can leave you. Don't do HR for me. What is HR? He said, what you are doing for me is more than HR. Or should I say it's not HR? Let me say it's not more than HR, so that the HR people here will not be angry. So it's not like it's more than HR, but you're doing corporate planning for me. So I said, hey, so I can do corporate planning. Hey, so I can do corporate planning, I can do strategy. Oh, right. Why not? And that has allowed me to release myself into those places. Yemi, thank you so much for your thoughts. I promised everyone on this call that I'm going to give you what WEF calls the top survivor skills for 2030. Are you ready for these skills? I'm going to read it out to you. Are you ready? If you are ready, stand up. So there are 5 skill types that we need to all focus on now. 5 skill types. Number 1 is technological skills. I'm going to break them down very soon. 5 skill types that will help us to be able to redesign work for the future of jobs. The first type are technological skills. The second type of skills are analytical and cognitive skills. The third will be soft and self-management skills. The fourth will be leadership and interpersonal skills. And the last will be sustainability skills. Thank you, Dr. Ogu. I think you were spot on when you said that. I'll come back. 5 broad skill types. 5 broad skill types that if you are developing your learning map, just like Yemi recommended, if you are developing your learning map, whatever work you're doing, number 1 set of skills is technological skills. Second set of skills, analytical and cognitive. Third set of skills are soft and self-management skills. The fourth set of skills are leadership and interpersonal skills. And the fifth are sustainability skills. Now, under each of these categories are other, there are skills there. For example, if you look at technological skills, you'll find AI and big data, technological literacy, networking, and cybersecurity. Everybody now needs to be very conscious of cybersecurity. Dr. Mike, I'm coming back to you in a bit. Just give me a second. So everybody understands cybersecurity. Everybody needs to start to understand cybersecurity. For the second skill type, analytical and cognitive, you need to start to think of analytical thinking skills, systems thinking skills. Okay, those are the skills of the future. Honestly, my friends, if jobs are being redesigned, ask yourself, the jobs I'm going to take, would they be requiring these skills from me? And they will be anyway. Under soft and self-management skills category, you need to develop resilience skills, flexibility and agility skills, creativity thinking skills, curiosity and lifelong learning skills. Again, under soft and self-management category, resilience, flexibility and agility, creative thinking, curiosity, and lifelong learning. Then under the leadership and interpersonal category, under the leadership and interpersonal category skill sets, you need to learn leadership skills, you need to learn social influence, and you need to learn talent management skills. Leadership skills, social influencing skills, and talent management skills. The last category is the sustainability one, which Dr. Mike has said he started to find himself doing it. And you need to start to learn what we call environmental stewardship. You must be learning about environmental stewardship. And these skills are emerging to the top fastest growing skills today. So these are the 5 categories and a number of them. And I hope that it will help you. We're about to close this session tonight, but not before I've asked. Dr. Mike, your hand is up, so I'm going to give you an opportunity to make a thought, and I'll go back to the next set of things.
Thank you so much, Dr. Olumuyiwa. I just wanted to chip in and plead with everyone on the call who want to take their career and their relevance seriously to please pay attention to these skills Dr. Olumuyiwa has mentioned. I have started redesigning my skill sets. So if I can do that, I want to please beckon on everyone to pay attention to those skills and see how you can begin to acquire those skills and use them, because you need to be future proof. Those will just be my additional thoughts, Dr. Olumuyiwa.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Dolakbo, for sharing. Technological skills category, analytical and cognitive skills category, soft and management skills category, leadership and interpersonal skills. Don't just take training for the sake of training. Take training that will give you these skills, because these are the future skills. These are the future skills. Okay, I want to give you all an opportunity to ask a few questions before I let all these my gurus leave us. The psychologists, the business leaders here, the HR gurus. And before they leave, if you have any question, please, I will appeal to you. Ask now. You have an opportunity. You can raise your hand. I'll give you an opportunity. You want to clarify a few things, or you have fears, or if you have doubts, is important. Dolakbo is also dropping in the link. For those of you who are joining us for the very first time, we'd like to keep you updated with our events. We'd like to keep you connected with the things that we do. And so it's important that you please fill up, complete that feedback form. It's important that you do so. It's important that you do so. You will miss out a lot. I don't know how many of you are joining us for the very first time, but if it's your first time, we have been doing this. Imagine you've lost the last five editions. You will check, if you look in the chat, you'll see my YouTube link, my YouTube channel. You will find the videos there. You can always catch up on it. But it's time for questions. If you have any questions, please ask now. I don't want to deprive you of the opportunity. The floor is open. What questions do you have for our panelists at this stage of the conversation? Don't be afraid of Dr. Birevi. Let's ask our questions now. Deborah Manari, Ms. Daniels, Funke Gundano, Let's ask our questions now. Let's see clarity. Let's find help. Outside this room, I know how much $1 charges for consultancy. So they should better take advantage of it now. And I'm glad that they're not even charging me for this session. I'm just leveraging on relationship. Dr. Ogu, I know his billing rate. I know his card. I've seen his rate card before. So that's why please take advantage now before you start meeting them in sessions where you need to pay in Forex. Yemi charges in Forex. So, so please. Okay, if you say there are no questions, I'll be fine. I mean, I'm glad that there was sufficient clarity. That there's sufficient clarity that people have given tonight. I'm not sure I saw any question in the chat. No. Okay, let's try to wrap up now. I want to thank you all very much for joining. Dr. Mike, Lady Yemi, Lady Ore, thank you so much. I'll take a few announcements and I'll come back to three of you to give us final reflections, okay? Workplace Conversation 7.0 is going to be the last for the year. It's going to be the last one for the year, and it's coming up sometime in the year. So we've not concluded whether it's September or October or November, but I know two of our panelists are on the call tonight. Dr. Vanessa is on the call. Thank you, Vanessa, for joining. You have always been supporting us, joining our events. Dr. Vanessa is a senior veterinary doctor. She's going to be on the Workplace Conversation 7.0. She works out of Jos, and it's a privilege for me to bring her to join us on that day. She works from the FMCG section. And then the second of our panelists, Akinjide Ojo, is also on the call. Maybe mistakenly turned on his camera the other time, and I was looking at his, like, this guy sitting on a laptop and is listening. So Akinjide Ojo is here. He'll be on the Workplace Conversation 7.0, and I'm glad to have them say a word to us. Akinjide, Vanessa, just say a word to us to let the people know that it's not just a placeholder and they are coming prepared.
Yeah, this is my first time joining you guys, and I must say that it's been very enlightening, and I look forward to contributing next month to the discussion.
Thank you, Akinjide. Akinjide is an oil and gas guru. I'm not sure there's any major oil and gas company in Nigeria today that has not benefited from his consultancy prowess. And so it's a privilege for me to have him come join us on Workplace Conversation 7.0. Vanessa, are you there to say a word? Madam Rogers Keeper, the Rogers Keeper. Hi, Vanessa. Just say a word to the people so that you can convince them that I did not lie about your participation. Except you're on the farm. She could be on the farm.
To be with Rogers.
To be with Rogers on the farm. Exactly. Okay, so, there's proof that they'll be there joining us, Workplace Conversation 7.0. That's why you must please complete the form that Dolapo has dropped in the chat. Please complete that form. We would use it to reach out to you. And for everyone who has joined, thank you so much for tonight. I'd like to go back to my panelists, and I want you to please give us your final reflections. As we near the end, I want to invite you to give us your final reflection. Oredola, I'll start with you, and then I'll go to Yemi, and then I'll leave Dr. Ogu to wrap it all up there. Final reflections, Oredola.
Thank you so much, Doctor. It's been an amazing conversation so far, and my final words would just be to say that as individuals, as employees, and as organizations, we must really begin to move from typical job descriptions to creating roles where people can actually thrive and grow and help the business stay very relevant in this dynamic, world that we find ourselves in. And I think I would like to particularly implore everyone, because many of the things that I have said, my psychological perspective, are not things that a lot of organizations really put into consideration for now. And I know some people might be wondering, okay, how do I, get my organization to do this? But I would just say that as individuals, let's look out for some of the things that I talked about and identify them even in the non-formal conversations and engagements that we have with our organizations at different levels, looking at really identifying our major outcomes, not just the task that we do, our major outcomes, and how these things really impact on a much larger scale. And I believe that doing this would set us up to be in the right frame of mind to keep learning, to be adaptable and resilient, so that we can stay relevant in the world of work. Thank you.
Thank you, Ardola. Thank you. I must say to you, for everyone here who needs some kind of psychological lens for your organization, Ardola is going to drop her email address in the chat. She's going to leave her email address in the chat. You can feel free to reach out to her. She's an organizational psychologist. She's able to use different frameworks and assessments to support you. She's been working with us. I mean, I've been working with her over the past few years, and some of the feedback from the magic she does with people's personality is amazing. In 10 minutes, or I can tell who you are, Yemi, or I can tell who you are. 10 minutes is even too long. In 5 minutes, she will tell you if you are going to make it or you're not going to make it. That's what Ore does. But I mean, she's told me that you are making it big time, Yemi. So what do you have to say to that? Your final words, Yemi. What do you have to say?
I was gonna ask for my discount to say, okay, well, maybe this is one of the benefits of joining this program. So maybe I can get a free consultation to know if I'm making it or not.
I'm making it big.
But
So.
okay, I'd like to say thank you for this opportunity, just to share. I've also got to learn. And I just need to remind us, or rather re-emphasize that yes, AI is here, job will be changing, but it's not all the jobs that be automated 100%. It is tasks that will be automated. And we have to now focus on skill sets, not job titles. And I think this has been emphasized during the course of this conversation. Skill sets, have a career map. Don't just be with an organization for money's sake, in quotes, because how long are you going to be in that organization? Organization will keep growing and evolving, and you have to. If you're not evolving, you'll be left behind. A lot of people started with and I'll say that this conversation has been happening over and over again. It's not just happening. There are times where we had typewriters, people that type, that was their job. Now it has evolved into people using laptops. Anywhere you are, you can type on your own. You don't need that dedicated person to do it. And so you just have to focus on the skill, not the job title. Keep growing, keep evolving. And remember, it's not the jobs that are changing. It's just the tasks that are automated. Thank you.
Oh my God. What a night. What a night. Dr. Mike Ogu, final words from you. Thank you, Yemi. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Dr. Muyiwa. So, Dr. Muyiwa, I don't know if I ever told you I was a Boy Scout.
No.
So, I rose to the highest level, being a troop leader, having run through the ranks. Mm-hmm. And my parting words will be the motto of the Boy Scouts: be prepared. Those will be my closing remarks for everyone on the call. That motto has been 2 words that have run my entire life. They have made a huge impact on my life, because our motto in the Boy Scout is be prepared. Be prepared for opportunities. All right. And once you are prepared, I'm sure when those opportunities come, you will be able to maximize them. So those will be my closing remarks, Dr. Muyiwa. Be prepared.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone, and I'm very grateful. Let me also begin to say that please take advantage of HR communities, professional association, not just HR, in your industry. There are conferences happening now. I think the chartered accountants guys are having conferences. The lawyers are having their own HR. The auditors are having the taxation. People are having their own. Vanessa is someone I know is well traveled. Vanessa travels a lot for conferences, and that's why I'm excited about her participation next time we're having workforce conversation, Workplace Conversation 7.0. You need to you need to get involved in this meeting. So please, by all means, check out the next conference in your profession and be a part of it. Invest in it. Here are my own closing words, my own closing remarks. I want to let you know that today, as we began to talk, we started to talk about the seismic shifts projected by the World Economic Forum. They are projected at 170 million new jobs will be coming, 92 million roles will be lost, and 39% of today's skills will become obsolete. And throughout our conversation, one message has remained very consistent. Roles cannot remain static. Roles cannot remain static. They must evolve, they must adapt, and they must align both with the aspirations of the individuals and the objectives of the organization. Having said this, I want to say a very big thank you to our distinguished panelists, Dr. Michael Ogu, Oluwayemi Ogundano, and Oredola Kayode-Soni for their insight and wisdom. And to you, our audience, thank you for engaging. Thank you for your feedback, and thank you for sharing in this important dialogue. As you leave tonight, may you carry with you this thought that the future of work is not something that will happen to us. It is something that we are actively redesigning role by role. Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining. Have a good night, and have a blessed week at work from tomorrow. Bye, everyone.